And a super good morning to each and every single one of you from reasonably, if you Google the names of these towns behind me, reasonably high up in the Spain's Sierra Nevada mountains. Excuse the traffic noise in the background. And as you can see from this direction, if you can see through the gloom, there's a reasonable mountain view out that side. We've actually got a cloudy sky for a change. But anyway, I'm up here smashing my way up the hill. My two mates have gone slightly further up the hill. They're on way lighter bikes than I am, and they've got a turnaround time. I'm turning around right now because it's slightly earlier, because I need to get back down the hill, which is that way behind the camera, back down the hill to the town of Pampanera, where there is apparently a jewelry manufacturer that I want to stop and talk to briefly, to see if he will be able to fashion me a ring out of titanium. But we'll have to wait and see what transpires as far as that's concerned. So by the time I'm finished meeting the jewelry manufacturer, my two mates will be back down the hill from slightly further up the hill, and then we'll barrel all the way back down to the town from whence we came. So anyway, I will definitely be hitting the content creation once this ride is finished and I'm through a shower and gotten a couple of calories. But anyway, speak to you soon. And a super good evening to you. It's now just gone 6:30 p.m. and I can give you a quick update on what's happened as far as today in content creation is concerned. As you will recall, I gave you a short update from high up on the mountain about as far as the exercise part of today was concerned. But now let me give you an update on the content creation that's happened since I've gotten back. The target for today, to be able to be on track for my 75,000 words for the month of July, was a mere 1,681 words. I have pushed out 1,963. Yes, sure, 1,963 isn't quite the normal 2,000 a day target, but for a Saturday over the weekend, 1,963 I would say is pretty close. I don't know what you'd say. Let me know down below. Anyway, but that 1,963 brings up a fairly important milestone for the month of July. That brings up the 60,000 word mark. My total so far for the month of July on Saturday the 22nd is 60,155 words so far for the month of July. Now that gets me to the actual topic that I'd like to talk to you about this evening, and that is, why is it that I go out of my way to sit down and write blogging content every single day? I don't know if you can figure that out. Every day I sit down and write blogging content. And as a way of explaining it to you, I'll give you a scenario of something that I remember hearing from somebody else. There was somebody that I was speaking to a while back, also doing blogging content. And they say that very often they don't do any blogging writing because they're waiting to be hit by some sort of inspiration that'll give them insights and allow the writing to flow. Well, one thing that I can tell you is inspiration happens in blogging most days when I'm sitting down and writing. But there are other days when inspiration doesn't happen. But what I can tell you for sure is that if I had to sit around and wait for inspiration to happen before I sit down and do any writing, I'd probably end up writing on 3, maybe 4 days of the month. However, easily 20 to 25 days of the month, I get hit by inspiration and the writing absolutely flows as I'm going. Maybe even more. It could be even as many as 27 or 28 days per month that the writing absolutely flows and I'm feeling inspired, and and the points that I'm wanting to raise and how I'm wanting to explain my points just absolutely flows easily. That easily, actually, that's more to the point. It probably happens 27, 28 days of the month. But if I had to sit and wait for inspiration to hit before I type the first words, I'd probably only write 3 or 4 days of the month and easily skip on writing on 27, 28 days of the month altogether. So what can we learn from this? What we learn from this is that inspiration happens and writing flow happens more often than not. But you need to be sitting down and actually writing for the flow to take place. I think it was Hemingway that said something many years ago, and I think it was a Hemingway quote that I remember reading, is that when it comes to writing and creative writing, inspiration finds you, but it needs to find you working. If you're not working, if you're not sitting down and working and writing, then the chances of inspiration finding you are almost non-existent. So that's my little piece of information that I can share with you as far as my writing process is concerned, and that is, I sit down and write every single day. Some days I'm absolutely inspired and I can bang out 5,000, 6,000 words of content in a day, and it runs smoothly with flow and everything. And other days I really struggle, and it takes me hours to be able to put out between 1,000 and 2,000 words. Usually it's somewhere in between. Usually I sit down and I write for an extended period of time, and then a bit of flow kicks in towards the end. But the reason why I sit down and write every day is that I never know which day it is that a massive amount of inspirational flow is going to hit. At the same time, what I will say is that by sitting down and writing every day, it gives me the momentum and the impetus of sitting down and writing every day. And the other side of things is that the fact that my word count of the month keeps on growing is part and parcel of my sense of motivation. There are many other bloggers that look at how many page views they're getting. And if today's page views are down from yesterday, the motivation goes out of the window and they feel that they can hardly write. Many new bloggers, when I speak to them that are just starting out, they say they're looking at the analytics every day, and it's so demotivating to them to see that on a brand new blog that's only been up and going for a week or 2 weeks or maybe a month, that hardly anybody is coming to their blog and reading their blog. Guess what? That's completely normal for a brand new blog. So what I do is, instead of looking at the analytics as a way to motivate myself to write, I look at how many words did I manage to push out yesterday? Can I do better today? And that's where I draw my sense of motivation from. I draw my sense of motivation from the amount of input, the amount of content that I can create, rather than looking at the analytics, because I've got zero control over the analytics. I've got zero control over how many people find my blog posts on the Google search, click on them, and click through to them and read the article. What I do have control over is the amount of content that I push out, the number of words that I write on a daily basis, the number of words I manage to complete and push out on a monthly basis. So that's what I've got control over, So that's what my focus is on. How much can I produce? Let me know what is your sense of motivation. Are you motivated by what you produce, or are you motivated by external factors that you've got zero control over? That's my take for the day. That's a wrap for this Saturday. I'll speak to you again on Sunday, and we'll tackle Sunday and produce a massive amount of content, you and I together. How about it? See you then. Cheers.